Tennessee should do everything in their power to put UCLA on the schedule this year. College football should do everything within its power to put Tennessee and UCLA on the schedule this year. The SEC and the Big Ten should do everything within their power to put Tennessee and UCLA on the schedule this year. There is absolutely no reason this can't happen. There's too much excitement going on with Tennessee and UCLA for this not to be the case. I'm going to explain how it can happen, okay? And we're going to play a little bit of 4 downs, and we're going to break down exactly how Tennessee can schedule UCLA this year, by the way, and make sure it happens. First 4 downs, and it's brought to you by Ted Russell Ford. So let's talk a little bit about why this needs to happen. We're going to get to the obvious, all right? There's actually 4 good reasons for this to be the case, okay? We're going to first send a message from Cooper Mays in spirit to say like and subscribe, because 4 downs is Cooper Mays' thing. So Cooper Mays is telling you hit like and subscribe. And Coop, first down from Coop. Why should Tennessee play UCLA? Well, obviously, Nico Iamaleava has transferred from Tennessee to UCLA. So it's Nico Iamaleava playing his former team. That's the obvious one. Obviously, Nico versus the team that he played for last year. Yeah, that's one big reason why Tennessee should do whatever they can to play UCLA, have the storyline of Nico and UCLA. Cooper Mays here. From Cooper Mays, second down. Joey Aguilar is at Tennessee after transferring to UCLA. It was a swap. Now, Joey Aguilar did not start for UCLA last year. He started for Appalachian State, but he did work with UCLA in spring practice, so he has connections with all the guys the way Nico does with Tennessee. He has connections with the UCLA guys. So it's literally a Nico Iamaleava versus Joey Aguilar situation, but for the different teams than they would have been with 3 weeks ago. You got to do it just for that. It's too much fun. So Joey Aguilar starting for Tennessee. From Tennessee center Cooper Mays, third down. Tennessee and UCLA have a history, believe it or not. Tennessee and UCLA have a long history of playing each other in non-conference ball, okay? And it's kind of more interesting than you realize. Tennessee and UCLA have played each other 13 times, dating back to 1965. 1965, Tennessee beat UCLA 37-34 at the Liberty Bowl, which is ironic because UCLA was led by Tommy Prothro, who was a Memphis native. And that was the breakout game for Dewey Warren and the Swamp Rat. And it was a game that helped Tennessee finish in the top 10 that year to make for the breakout season for Doug Dickey. 2 years later, at UCLA, Tennessee won 20-16 in what became a retroactive national championship season for the Vols. Tennessee lost 20-16, the opener at UCLA, in what became a national championship season for the Vols that they retroactively declare because they went out the rest of the way and finished the regular season ranked number 2 and number 1 in a couple of polls. So that was a significant game. Losing that, had they won that game, they would have been declared unanimous national champions, funny enough. So that was a huge one. 1968, Tennessee absolutely blew out UCLA at home 42-18. So they played him 65, 67, 68. And then in 1970, Tennessee beat UCLA again. They beat them that year 28-17 on December 5th, late in the year. A key game to finish number 5. Guys, a lot of great history in this series. The two tied 17-17 in 1974. UCLA won in 1975. UCLA won in 1978. UCLA won the two, and here's the big one. In 1985, Tennessee and UCLA tied when Tennessee was unranked and UCLA was in the top 10. Tennessee led 26-10 at home. UCLA scored 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions to end the game in a tie. But that was kind of Tennessee's breakout game to prove that they had arrived finally under Johnny Majors, which they ended up winning the SEC that year and becoming a legendary team. 1989, again, a Tennessee-UCLA game that helped Tennessee reach the national stage. Tennessee beat UCLA at UCLA 24-6 when UCLA was in the top 10. The Vols had finished the year 5-6 the year before. That game propelled them to the top 25 and propelled them to an 11-1 season in which they finished ranked number 5 and won a share of the SEC title, and sparked the greatest run of the modern era, a 16-year run in which Tennessee made a bowl game every year, won 4 SEC titles during that time, and won the national title in 98. It actually can be traced back to that 1989 UCLA game. 1991, Tennessee beat UCLA in Knoxville. 1994, Tennessee lost at UCLA 25-23. However, that was the game that Jimmy and I talked about, in which Jerry Colquitt went down, and Peyton Manning, Brandon Stewart, and Todd Helton all played in that game, and it ushered in the Peyton Manning era a month later. 1996, Tennessee won 35-20 during the second week of the season, in which they set an attendance record because they had just expanded the north end zone. 1997, Tennessee won 30-24 at UCLA. That was Manning's senior year. That turned out to be a huge quality win at the end of the year, because even though UCLA started 0-2, losing to Washington State and Tennessee, they finished 10-2 and in the top 5. So it was a big win for Tennessee. But then in 2008, Tennessee lost 27-24, which sparked a 5-7 season, and Philip Fulmer getting fired, and they lost 19-15 Lane Kiffin's first year in 2009. So there's a lot of history between Tennessee and UCLA, which is third down, which is why this is already a great type of game to schedule. This is a traditional great non-conference matchup. Fourth down is an interesting one too, and it deals with another connection between Tennessee and UCLA. Fourth down coming up. First, a quick message from Ted Russell Ford, Lincoln Studios.
Like a blast from the past, the Super Dealer is back. Look to the skies, Knoxville. The Super Dealer is fighting for price, service, and the American made. Ted Russell Ford is East Tennessee's #1 volume Ford dealer. Save up to $4,350 on a new Ford F-150 XLT, or get into a new Ford Ranger XLT with no payments for 90 days. Come see the Super Dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford.
Fourth down. The Tino Sinceri connection. Yeah, that's right. Tino Sinceri. So Tino Sinceri is UCLA's offensive coordinator. Tino Sinceri was a quality control assistant at Tennessee in 2018 under Jeremy Pruitt. He was also the co-offensive coordinator last year for Indiana when Taven Jackson was playing for Indiana, who was a Josh Heupel commitment and transferred. More importantly, he is the son of legendary Tennessee defensive coordinator Sal Sinceri. I'm kidding with the legendary part, who coached Tennessee's defense in 2012 and did such a poor job that Derek Dooley got fired. And he was used as a shot to be thrown at Josh Heupel, because the Iamaleava camp says one of the reasons they committed to Tennessee or to UCLA or transferred was about the offense, and they wanted to be developed better for the NFL, which is propping Tino Sinceri, not Deshaun Foster, the UCLA coach, but Tino Sinceri above Josh Heupel. That connection alone is enough of a reason for Tennessee to play UCLA. But the big one, beyond the history and beyond Tino Sinceri, is Joey Aguilar versus Nico Iamaleava for the opposite schools we thought they'd play for at the beginning of this calendar year. That's the biggest reason you want this transfer to you want this game to happen. Now, how do you make it work? How do you make it work? Well, UCLA plays Utah at home this year at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, okay? UCLA plays Utah at home in Pasadena. Utah is trying to bounce back from a bad year last year in which they lost their final 6 games after a 4-0 start. I'm sorry, they lost 7 of their final 8 games, after a 4-0 start to finish 5-7. It was a disastrous finish to the season with Kyle Whittingham. They're looking to bounce back. UCLA is playing Utah this year at home. They would have to get out of that contract, okay? Because UCLA plays Utah in 2026 as well. Utah was to replace the Georgia game, okay? I think Tennessee and UCLA should work out a deal in which Tennessee plays UCLA in 2025 and 2026. Do a home and home if you have to, just to make sure this one happens. And I don't even care if it's in Pasadena, okay? I just want to make sure this one somehow happens. Tennessee's playing Georgia Tech next year when UCLA is playing Utah again. Work with Utah to play Syracuse this year and work with them to play Georgia Tech next year. That's how you do this, man. That's how you do this. And if that doesn't work, you can figure out something else for Utah. But I think Tennessee has got to be able to play UCLA this year. It's too good of a story. Okay. There's some contracts that have to work out. Maybe you stick with the home and home with Georgia Tech. And if you're Tennessee, and Utah and UCLA, they nix this year. And then the next time there's an availability, they make up the game in like 2029, 2030, when they haven't inked their out of conference schedule yet. But you have Utah and Syracuse play each other this year. So have Utah play Syracuse, have Tennessee play UCLA. Then at that point, you can just do it one time. Okay, Tennessee and UCLA play on a neutral site. Utah plays Syracuse somewhere. You can make this work, guys. You got to do it. Danny White, I'm talking to you. Josh Heupel, I'm talking to you. Deshaun Foster, I'm talking to you. Martin Jarman, the athletic director at UCLA, I'm talking to you. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, I'm talking to you. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, I'm talking to you. NCAA Commissioner Charlie Baker, I'm talking to you. Guys, somebody step up and do this. Make it happen. It can happen. And it would be so much fun if we all saw it. I think you guys should make this thing go.